Hello, welcome to part 2 of our Asuka Basics Guide. Reminder that we are on Tekken 7 version 4.11. In this part, we're going to talk more about strategy and go over some basic game plan elements which will build on the essential moves list we already went over. As always, there's a written version of this guide should you need it. The link is in the video description below. Real short, so let's go. Playing defense is Asuka's bread and butter, which is somewhat ironic given that she has the worst jab in the game, yet all of her other defensive tools are so good that they more than make up for having a lackluster 10-framer. We'll jump into more offensive stuff later, but note for now that a lot of Asuka's offense revolves around playing annoying and simply baiting your opponent into mistakes, so you'll lean heavily on moves like down 4, which is your toe kick, so a quick tracking high crushing low, although she has long legs so hers has really good range, down back 3, a +4 low poke, down 4-4, an I-12 ranging mid that leaves you at great spacing on hit and block, and down forward 1, an I-13 mid poke with nasty string extensions. Many players refer to this kind of style as a type of offensive or active defense because you're attacking while simultaneously playing defense because of the quick, safe, and evasive nature of the moves. Plus, the goal isn't damage, the goal is to frustrate into mistakes. Thus, the next step is to start taking chances with your counter hit or evasive tools. The most common are back 3, which is highly evasive, quick, and can be tough to punish, back 4, a safe quick knee, down 2, a safe quick long range mid, and down 3+4, absurdly fast at I-14 and similarly absurdly early crush at frame 5. Also safe if they don't read it coming and they block the high instead of duck it. The biggest risk for some of these is spacing since they don't recover particularly fast, or for things like back 3 or back 4, they just don't have a lot of range to them relative to playing neutral at range 2 or 3. The good news is that you do have some tools that can move you forward like up forward 3, which is another safe low crushing mid counter hit launcher. In fact, note how safe a lot of these things are. Of the moves we've mentioned, only back 3 is punishable on block, and even then it's one of those wonky moves that goes unpunished a lot. But don't feel like you have to make a counter hit read, which can be risky as we said since you don't want to whiff. Instead, put the fear of God into your opponent with forward 2, a quick mid launcher with silly range. It is risky if blocked, but if you play slow and attentively, it's not too hard to make your opponent really scared of doing anything at range. Plus, if you want something safer on block and even slightly faster, there's always forward 1+2, which has similar range and doubles as a counter hit tool since it's also a power crush. It just won't yield a launch and it's high so it can be ducked. Lastly, keep in mind her reversals. Yes, she has the traditional one, which you can hold for longer, making it a little tricky, but don't sleep on 2+3 and back 2+3. 2+3 is for punches and back 2+3 is for kicks. Both will launch on a successful parry, although they are both also regular attacks on top of that. 2+3 will actually launch on hit regardless whether it successfully parries something, and though back 2+3 only launches on a successful parry, it's still a safe mid. It's important to end this section by recognizing that much of this relies on your ability to read your opponent. If you're too flippant with forward 2 and it gets blocked, or if you're not smart with things like down 2 or down 3+4, you can get punished really hard. So your strategy here is to play patient and don't make the mistakes you want your opponent to be making. Now that we've talked about her core gameplay, which is defense, let's talk some actual offense. Although Asuka has some nice pressure tools like forward 1, she's not really a pressure character, so if you have advantage, you're in their face, what do you do? In terms of big damage, at least on normal hit, you really only have one low option, and that's down 1+2. It doesn't launch, but it does give you a free forward 2 follow-up for a total of almost 40 damage, which is roughly the same as a hell sweep. You can also do this from full crouch, so it helps there too. It has suspect range, but it's undergone some buffs on that front in the past, so it's not nearly as bad as it once was. Still be mindful of that though. One common tactic to help is doing something like forward 2, canceling into full crouch, then doing down 1+2 from there, so using the forward 2 to get you quickly into range. Otherwise, you'll have to stick with your low pokes and hope you can set up some counter hits. Down back 3, like we mentioned, is +4 on hit, so you can nearly loop it, but obviously that advantage works very much in your favor. Down back 4 or 1-4 is 0 on hit and can go to full crouch, which still works in your favor given your strong defensive tools. 1-3 is also 0 on the low, and once they start ducking, you have a bunch of safe options, although for mix-up purposes, most Asukas will do 1+2 since it's a safe, quick mid launcher. We can also mention full crouch down forward 2, which is 0 on hit but also gives a nasty counter hit stun. This leads us to her full crouch game. First, to get to full crouch, you have a lot of options, as you might remember from your essential moves. If your opponent is really turtled up, you can just duck in their face. However, you have a lot of transition options and full crouch cancels. 1 forward down, as well as any of the subsequent sweeps, 3 slide forward down back, 3 plus 4 down, back 1 down, back to 1 plus 2 down, forward 2 down, as well as any moves that simply recover full crouch like down 4. The cancels in particular will give you initiative once they turtle up, but once in full crouch, you'll normally keep it simple to avoid exposing yourself to mistakes. For example, mindlessly doing while standing 1-4 will get you launched since the second hit is high. Instead, focus again on your counter hit evasive tools. Full crouch 3 plus 4 is a safe jumping mid that crushes early at frame 5. It has a second jump to it as well, full crouch 3 plus 4 3, and both can go back to full crouch if you want. While standing 3, by the way, crushes highs instantly because she stays crouching the whole time, but it's -16, so very risky. If you just want a quick mid check, while standing 4 is always available, as is while standing 2, although be careful with while standing 2-1 since that can be ducked as well. While standing 1 plus 2 is also good since it's a safe mid counter hit launcher. However, it's a little on the slow side, yet it has crazy range, so one really common sequence is to do forward 2 down into while standing 1 plus 2. This takes you almost full screen. It's kind of crazy, and on top of that, while standing 1 plus 2 can be canceled back into full crouch, so you can play with it at range almost like a safe forward 2. Lastly, a quick mention on full crouch down forward 3, a safe power mid wall bouncer. No evasion with this really, but useful for anyone trying to hard read your full crouch down forward 2 swipe or something similar, since that swipe is another common option after a full crouch cancel. Regardless how you come by your offense, once you sniff a counter hit opportunity, just use any of the moves we already talked about or anything listed in the keep out section. But also don't forget your strings too. 1-2-4 is a natural combo on counter hit. The 2-4 part of it is always a natural combo, so if they're trying to swing into it or duck against it. Back 4 has a string option that can be delayed and confirmed, so even if they block back 4, they need to be careful, which means you get some initiative back. 1-1-4 ends with a safe mid counter hit launcher, so again, you can use that to steal back initiative after 1-1. And if they're swinging into it, the second and third hits are a natural combo on counter hit. Back 2 has a canned mix-up, or you can just threaten with it and once again, steal back your initiative. Her move list really is littered with these kinds of things. Just play carefully, which shouldn't be too hard given how safe most of her move list is and how many scary counter hit tools she has. Asuka's grab game is a little below average, only because she doesn't have the full spectrum of breaks, because she's missing a true 1 plus 2 break throw. So like any character without all 3 breaks, it can be tough getting them to land. That being said, they can hurt if they do. Her down forward 2 plus 3 throw, the 2 break, does a nice chunk of damage. It slams down for decent Oki because of the positioning. Nothing guaranteed, but certainly better than average. Similarly, back 1 plus 2, a 1 plus 2 break, will again leave you in a solid position, and for this one, if at the wall, guaranteed hits are possible depending on how they get up. Full crouch down forward 1 plus 2 is her other 1 plus 2 break. This is a launcher, so the benefits here are obvious. However, most people will be looking for this since it's a lot of damage. Asuka does have a unique throw in down back 1 plus 2, which is much slower than a typical grab, I-18 compared to I-12 or so for normals. It can't be broken, but it also does no damage. Instead, it gives her +8. So it's a way to get some instant offense by forcing them to eat a mix-up or challenge it, in which case you have an easy counter hit opportunity. Nothing game breaking, but very useful. This brings us to the end of part 2. Hopefully this discussion gets your creativity going and helps get you some wins. In part 3, we'll finish the guide off by going over some quick referential items like combos and punishers, and then we'll end with a brief character summary. Watch for that here in the next couple of days. And with that, thank you for checking out this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Also be sure to turn on notifications if you'd like to get alerted as soon as a new vid is uploaded. I also try to stream whenever I can, so the link to Twitch is down in the video description below. You will find Twitter and Facebook links down there too. Lastly, special thanks to our 3 patrons, Tato, Apples, and Overhaul. That support means a lot. Patreon is definitely the best way to support your favorite content creators, and the more support the channel gets, the more content I can afford to do. Stay safe everyone, and we'll see you next time.